Hey guys, I want to talk to you about the lake of fire and Revelations and that kind of stuff. Before I get into it, um, as you know, as us Christians believe, God created the universe, and then the rules by which He does, by which He runs this, are rules that we can readily see. Like if you throw a ball up in the air, it comes down. Okay. Albert Einstein had some of these theories, and he put them down, and they're pretty good. They describe a lot. For instance, Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, time dilation. In these two circumstances, special relativity, and that's away from like a planet or whatever, clocks that are moving in respect to the inertial system of the observed measure to be running slower. And what that means is that if there's a clock on the, let's say on the Earth, or at one point, if there's another, say a spaceship with a clock in it, and the spaceship starts accelerating, as it accelerates, that clock will be seen to be moving slower, okay, than this clock. And remember that a tick of the clock is an event, okay? So events or time starts running slower, okay? That's special relativity, and that's in regards to movement. All right, in general relativity, clocks at a lower potentials in the gravitational field, such as closer to a planet, are found to be running slower. So as you get closer to a big mass, clocks run slower than they do on the outside. Now, people that orbit the planet, they go in special relativity, and so their clocks actually run a little bit slower than they do on Earth. But that's because of the conflict there, or not conflict, but the adding and subtracting. They're moving faster, so their clocks go slower. Okay, so basically with general relativity, the closer you get to a body, like a planet or a star or whatever, the slower that time runs. Now, the bigger this is, the slower that time runs. So a star's time dilation, time runs a lot slower close to that as opposed to a planet than it does further out in space. Okay, and as these stars get bigger or more massive, the time starts running slower and slower and slower until it actually stops. Okay, and these are black holes. Okay, so what happens is, in the black hole, light doesn't come out, and the reason is because light moves at 186,000 miles per second. Okay. When the seconds equals 0, that means the light stops. Okay. At that point, time is no longer elapsing, and basically the light comes in through from what we would consider thousands and millions of years, come into this one place and just pool around this black hole. Because it comes in, time stops, and that it basically, light just parks it. It pools around it. So what's my point? Okay, the point is there really is a place where forever and ever exists. Time does not elapse. And there's a pool or a lake of fire around that. It's something that as time stops, you will not hit the bottom of that. That's the abyss, the bottomless pit, where you fall and you just never hit bottom. Okay, that's where the lake of fire is. Now, and this is the thing. A lot of the stuff in Revelations, you can see this stuff describing this situation. It's incredible. And so anyway, I'll go there right now. Okay, Revelation 12. And there was war in heaven, and Michael and the angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against the angels, and prevailed not. Neither was there a place found any more in heaven. Alright. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So basically he was put on earth. Okay, that's a start, and that's going to come into play a little bit later, but it just describes something. Okay, and you go further on in Revelation 6:12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Now that's a little bit incredible, but this is the one thing. The closer and closer you get to the black hole, the slower time goes. The slower time elapses until it finally stops, but the slower it goes. Okay, so you have the sun that we orbit around, and it puts out light. If you slow the seconds down that the light moves, less of it will hit the earth. So as we would go into the abyss, or the earth, the sun would certainly seem to dim out dramatically. Okay. And then the stars fell from heaven. The stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casts untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So, look at it this way. As you go closer to a black hole, as you get closer, time slows down and to a stop. The time outside of it is still lapsing millions and billions of years. So all of the stars that this black hole would swallow or eat in its lifetime or existence, after you went in, would come in after you. So you have the black hole, you have the earth, and all the stars that it would eat would come into it. So when this says, the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, that's exactly what they mean. Stars. Stars fall to the earth. Huge. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. So, let's say I'm falling back into a black hole, and there's stars. The light from the stars comes towards me. Well, what happens is the black hole, again, turns it into it. And they've documented the way it turns light. Gravity, okay? Gravity bends space, and so it bends the path of light. One of the things that's one of my deductions is that because of the time dilation towards a planet or star, time is moving slower than it is outside. So as a photon of light comes in, the side closest to the star is moving slower than, or time is elapsing slower on that side than it is on the other side, towards the outside. So the net result is to turn it. Okay, and they've documented that. It's well known. But in this case, again, you would see the stars would start to disappear. You wouldn't see them, and they'd open up. They'd basically close up like a scroll. All right, and then you'd have those stars coming down to the earth. And this is incredible. And in those days, men shall seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Okay, and that is Revelation 9:6. Now, when I first read it, I had a hard time wrapping my mind around that. how could you not get a knife and kill yourself, or a gun? Or how could you not go to kill yourself and not be able to kill yourself? One of the reasons is because when you get closer and time stops elapsing, you can't kill yourself, because if you stab yourself, it takes time to bleed out. And if time stops, you're not. And if you use a gun, it takes time for the bullet to get out of that chamber, to shoot out of the gun. And if time stops, it's not going to happen. You get down one of these things towards the black hole, and you can't die. It goes on, 10. I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow upon his head, and his face as it was covered as it were a sun, and his feet pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open. And he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth. And he cried in a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he cried, the seven thunders uttered their voices. And when the seven thunders uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. So basically that tells you there's a lot more that is not written that's going to be happening. But the reason I bring this up is because this angel has something interesting to say. And that angel, which I saw upon the sea and upon the land, lifted up his hand to heaven, and swore by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things therein, and the earth and the things that are therein are, and the sea and the things which are in there, that there should be no more time, or there should be time no longer. Now, this last thing he said, it's said differently in different versions of the Bible. And the reason is because what he actually says in Greek is chronos. Now, my pronunciation of Greek is probably not so good, but bear with me. Chronos, oketai, astai. Chronos can mean time or delay, whichever. Oketai means no longer. And astai means will be. So it can mean delay, no longer will be, or it can mean time no longer will be. Okay? And the King James Version says, there should be time no longer. Okay? And others say delay. Because of the context of the things of time and forever and ever that are within the Revelation, the book of Revelation, I'm leaning more towards that. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. Time no longer will be. And then, but in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished. And he hath declared as he has declared to his servants and prophets. So that's with that. And then towards the end, okay, this is the interesting part right here. And the devil that deceives them was cast in. Now this is Revelation 20:10. And the devil that deceiveth them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Okay. So, and then after that, and this is 20:14 of Revelation. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And after that, and whoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Okay. So, and then, okay, now this is 21, Revelation 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no more sea. Okay, so as I read previously, Satan and his angels were cast to the earth, and they were no longer found in heaven. And then, later on at the end of the book, they were cast into the lake of fire, and the earth had passed away, and there was a new heaven and a new earth. Okay, so that's pretty much the way of things. Now, which is why, the Christians talk about, the rapture, and it does say that people will be taken. And one of the reasons is because that lake of fire is the judgment for Satan and those who follow Satan. And when we talk about being saved, what we mean is being saved from that, bodily and soul. Saved from that. And and there's different things, and we talk about being saved like we know, because we do, because it's written exactly who will be saved. And this is something that you can read if you wanted to. Romans 10:13, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Okay. And John 3:16, that is very famous, but this is what it says: for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn it, but that the world might be saved, and saved from that stuff, the lake of fire. And then one more, and then I'll let you go. Acts 2 and 20. Okay, 20 and 21. You're going to like this one, because it refers back to Revelation, or some other things. Okay, 20 is, the sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great notable day of the Lord is come. And 21 is, and it shall come to pass that whoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. That's it. All right, thanks for listening.